So, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the last part of the defensive triangle, and most of the people will already know which move I choose last to be talked about. It's his famous flash 1+4, which is the fastest mid in the game as far as I know. It comes out at 6 frames, and if you're in no sword stance it comes out at 8 to 9 frames. It is launch punishable on block, both options, but it comes out so fast, so if your opponent is not expecting it, he won't launch you, and most of the time you're gonna get whiff punished for it instead of launch punished. I'm gonna today explain you how to use this move and what are good setups for it, although there are so many I don't know if I can cover them all. So we're gonna jump right into it. Flash is his key defensive tool. It's the thing that makes Yoshimitsu scary. I cannot stress this enough. This is by far his best move. It is lightning screw and orbital heal and everything together put in this. This is the move why people hate Yoshi and maybe Sword Street, but in this game more the Flash, because it is so useful, it is so universal, and it is just great. So at first, every time when you add -4 to -5, you can input flash, and if the opponent presses any buttons and they hit you and it doesn't whiff, they're gonna get punished for it. So after a normal 1-2 most of the time from the opponent, you add -4 to -5, sometimes -6, and then you can flash, and if they do something afterwards, they're gonna get hit. After the usual down for 1 on hit, you can flash, and if your opponent pressed buttons, they're gonna eat it. And of course there are moves that leave us in -4 to -5, and I'm gonna name a few right now and show you a few, of course. Let's see. Which is the first one we're gonna talk about? I think it should be the Tsunami kicks. Yeah, Tsunami kicks are -5 to -6 on block. So Japs will beat Flash if they immediately do it. But everything slower than that is gonna get beaten. Why is this important? Because you have also your Kitcho parry that I showed you in the video before, which will beat Japs. So now you have a true 50-50 in retaliation that parries every attack they do if they do one immediately. Or you can just spin. And if you use all of these 3 options in like mix it up, then your opponent is really in the guessing game every time when he's plus. If he wants to throw you, you can spin out or flash or duck or do this Kitcho parry. That makes Yoshimitsu very hard to predict, and even good players struggle to deal with this. Now I showed you something else. A lot of Yoshimitsu's lows actually lead to -4, -3 or -5. For instance, this here is -5. -4 to -5. It's a high crushing low. It does 39 damage, I think, normally. But Yoshimitsu doesn't have a lot of high crushing lows. That's why down 3 and down 4 are somewhat relevant for him. And now if you do a normal down 4, your offense is over. But in this case, if you're not a scrub like me, you can actually hit your opponent. Like this. Okay, if they press forward. Because it kind of leaves you at some distance. If they press buttons afterwards, you can flash them. The same for down 3, which is okay in the open, but gets really good when you're at the wall and you do down 4 into flash, and they're gonna get annoyed. The same goes for down back 3-3. If you stay in crouch, you're at -5 to -6, and you can flash from crouch, which is the change in this game which made Yoshimitsu way better. Way better. And that makes all of his lows, although they're minus, way more scary, and people gonna actually respect you afterwards. Down back 4 is only -1, so you can just normal sidestep, but of course you can also do the flash here. At the wall, I like to do this into flash, and it works all day long. Next we're going to cover, of course, things like down for 2. I already covered this in the other guide, and here you really have to mix it up. Because if they do jabs, you're going to lose. But if they do slow mids, you're going to win. So with the Kicho parry, like I told you, you have to mix this up to make your opponent guess what you're going to do. And the next one I'm going to talk about is his spin series overall. Back 1 is a good setup for flash if they because you're at +1. If they press anything, they're gonna die for it. Down back 3-3, like I told you, is good on hit, and down back 2, the first one, is also very good on block because it's -5 and you can flash afterwards. But I want to show you, flash actually tracks to the left. As you can see, I tried to step there. I can step it to the right. Let's see if I can step it actually on hit. Oh, wait a second. Oh, on hit it doesn't even connect. But I can step it on block. But I cannot step it to the left on block. So both versions, the no sword and the sword version, track to the left but not to the right. Another moves that where you can use flash, which I'm gonna tell you right now because I saved all the moves on my phone because there are so many. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is 4-2, which is actually -5, so it's a perfect setup for flash. The next one is Dragonfly 4, which is crazy good because this is his main mid out of Dragonfly, and the only good mix-up to his Dragonfly Flow or his counter hit low, and this is a counter hit launcher, and if they block this at the wall, you can actually flash, and anything they do gets beaten by flash. The next one is Upford 1, which got buffed in this game and is now a counter hit orbital. On block it's -5 to -6, and if you flash, jabs can beat you, but of course you have your Kicho parry to take care of jabs. And if they do something slower than 11 to 12 frames, you can flash them and get your counter hits. The next one, of course, is down for 3. Down for 3 leaves you in crouch and is -4 to -5. This is versus people that are unfamiliar with Yoshi. They oftentimes gonna jab and you're gonna get a counter hit with the sweep anyway. But if you're afraid they're doing a mid, just flash them and you're gonna beat all the options. And of course you also have the extension, which is safe. Next thing to do is, that is only useful at the wall. This move is +3 to +2 on hits, but I don't know why, but I oftentimes have people that are actually mashing after this hits. I don't know if they think they're actually on plus, so you're on minus, but this is +3. But I oftentimes, if I do flash afterwards, I'm actually hitting them, and they're actually pissed. The next thing is his down forward 1. Even though, to note, this kinda on block leaves you a little bit out, so if you just right away flash, they're not gonna get touched, but if they move in with a move, because this is -4, you're also gonna do flash them. So you don't have to always use down for 2, which down for 1-2, which can be ducked. You can just flash if you want them to respect your down for 1 pressure. Even though Yoshimitsu doesn't have the best down for 1. Keep in mind, if you're no sword stance, the flash has more range, way more range actually, but it is not the same because it is 8 frames. So then you kind of have to, you cannot use it as a setup tool like you can in normal stance, in one sword stance, but you can actually link counter hit 2, which I showed you. If you do back 1 and they blocked it, if I can do it, if I what the fuck was that? What the fuck? Sorry, I'm playing on my TV and occasionally I cannot do my stuff. So if you do back 1, they block it, you do 2, and confirm the counter hit and do the no sword flash, you actually get a true combo. And if the back 1 at itself counter hits, you also get a free flash in no sword stance only. And there is even an occasion where you can get the third hit of this to hit, counter hit, I think, and you can flash. No, I think that's not the case anymore. Or maybe it's the fourth one, I don't know. But you have to keep in mind that if you do it from no sword stance, this is actually 2 frames slower. So then it's more like, I don't know, I use this move from no sword stance to cover my whiffs. If I whiffed something like a down for 2 and I'm afraid my opponent is gonna get in on me, I'm just do a flash afterwards, because oftentimes they don't punish it if I whiff it. And a lot of times actually I catch my opponent. But one thing to, or more like 2 things, to keep an eye on is that Yoshimitsu has this very scary jump which leaves him in crouch, which is kind of awkward, but it is actually very, very good, because from crouch you can always do your sweep. And there is a mix-up to it. Of course, you can do forward, forward, 4. So what people oftentimes do nowadays is they try to jab you out of it, like down for 1 or jab or do something to get you out of this mix-up. So what you can do is jump in their face and then press flash, and if they did something, they're gonna get counter-hitted. This really looks very awkward, but it works like 80% of the time if I'm doing it, because all the people try to do something. And it will also, of course, I like to end my combos with down 2-2, put my sword away, and then jump afterwards. And if they do a get-up kick, of course, you will also hit them with this. So it's just great. It's just great overall. And the next thing is, if you end your combo with 4-3+4, oftentimes, because you had so many hits there far away, and you want to use 4 to do this little rollover thing. This is actually pretty minus on recovery, and you recover in crouch. So a lot of people try to hop kick you out of it because they don't want to deal with the mix-up. But if you press flash here, also you're gonna beat their hop kicks, and you're gonna beat the retaliation, which makes them respect this for you to make more mix-ups in this position. Overall, to note is that flash in this game is accessible from full crouch, which completely changed Yoshi. The first thing to note is that your full crouch mix-up actually got very scary now, because it's not too easy to avoid by hop kicking or just mashing you out of it, because you have to use flash from full crouch. It's a thing that I just learned like 5 months ago. And I was the kind of guy who was very angry about that people would just random hop kick me out of my full crouch mix-up, even on plus. And although sword sweep isn't as good as it was before, tracking wise and of course Oki wise, the buff for flash makes at least the sweep way more scary. By the way, if you hit this sweep on normal hit, you can also flash. On normal hit, of course, because you're plus 4 to 5. And they cannot do anything. And now we're gonna cover the last huge thing about Yoshimitsu now, which I really abuse the shit out of. And it's duck flash. Duck into flash is something new that is only possible because they gave him, of course, the ability to duck and flash immediately, which makes every -9 and -8 move able to flash if they do a 1-1 or a 1 sometimes, or a 2-2, or anything high jab related. I'm gonna show you how it looks. And as you can see, sometimes they doesn't even trade. I'm gonna get launched for doing this. And now you really understand why Yoshimitsu in this game is so annoying, because there are a shit ton. All the moves I showed you yesterday, with the last time with the Kicho parry, all the moves that are -9, like this move at the wall, this move at the wall. Let me think about more moves that are -9. I use it, of course, after this, even though it's not -9. You can use it after down for 2. You can use it in any situation, like sidestep 1, even though it doesn't leave you very close, but you can still do it if they try to jab afterwards. One thing to note though, this is crazy good. And high-level Yoshi players abuse the shit out of it. But if they just do a one jab, it's not gonna work. Which is very unfortunate, but it would be kind of OP if it wasn't like that. Because my favorite way to use this is doing this into duck flash. But like people who not completely know Yoshimitsu, they just kind of know him, will do like a one jab. Because if I do this and they jab, I'm gonna lose. So I a lot of times do this, and if they do just a single jab, nothing happens. But if you do this and they block it, they oftentimes don't punish me for it, like 99% of the times. Only if they already know the setup and knew I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's about anything to say. I have to think if I have like more flash setups. You can do flash from back turn, but that is very, very strange. Sometimes when I do this and I do flash, I actually get a counted because this is -6. But I wouldn't rely on it because it is kind of awkward. Moves that I like to do flash afterwards. I like to do flash after this if I don't do the extension. There is a root kick extension and a lot of people wait for this. So on block I just do this. The same goes for forward forward 3. Because a lot of people think of this like forward forward 1+2. And when they see me normal standing, they gonna press something because I didn't do the extension. And then I like to do flash as well, which works. Of course, after this flash works, or duck flash works. Yeah, sometimes I even... no, not after this. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap everything up for flash. I hope I covered everything. If I forgot something, of course, after this you can do flash too. I hope everyone knew that, but I'm gonna say it again. And after while standing 4. There's just so much, man. There's just so much. You cannot cover it all. This move it's just his go-to move. And of course, versus big characters, you get after down to 2 on normal hit, you get a free flash. And sometimes if you have a weird angle, then you're gonna get it on normal size opponents. I'm just gonna quickly try if I can show it, but nah. I don't know the angle now from the top of my head, but it works. It really does work. Yeah, I hope that was everything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like or a comment or anything. And please suggest me the next series I'm gonna do. I think I know what I'm gonna do next. I have kind of the next series already planned, but I'm open for ideas to change it up. So in this... well, I don't know how to say that in English. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.